Lee Summit is your destination for big city vibes and small town charm.
Head to the downtown Lee Summit Farmers Market, where local meets fresh. Then grab a cup of coffee and discover a variety of shops and boutiques just around the corner. Continue the fun in downtown Lee Summit at a retro arcade bar. Discover your new beer at one of our 6 locally owned breweries. Cool off with some handcrafted cocktails at happy hour. End the night with live music and good company. Lee Summit, Missouri.
Hello, Lee Summit. I'm Laura Ingeman, and this is your flash briefing for the week of August 5th. City Council will meet for regular session Tuesday night at 6 in Council Chambers in City Hall. Meetings are open to the public or watch live on the city's YouTube channel. If you can't watch, catch the recorded meeting on demand on the YouTube channel or by subscribing to the Council Debrief newsletter, which breaks down 3 to 4 key agenda items. Subscribe at cityofls.net. The State of the City is scheduled for Friday, August 16th at 11 a.m. at the Missouri Innovation Campus, located at 1101 Northwest Innovations Parkway. The Lee Summit Chamber of Commerce is hosting the luncheon. The State of the City address will be available on the city's YouTube channel and city website at cityofls.net. Join the team at Lee Summit Water Utilities. We have a range of exciting career opportunities for those who thrive in a collaborative environment and are driven to create innovative solutions. Be part of an elite team. Lee Summit Water Utilities is one of only 17 accredited water utilities nationwide. This is your chance to work with the best and make an impact. Apply today at lspeople.net. And have you checked out the Lee Summit Marketplace recently? We have a 40-ounce mug featuring a twist closure lid with a Lee Summit heart. A great gift for anyone. We can confidently say it'll keep your drink cold for up to 24 hours. The LS Marketplace is located in the lobby of City Hall. Find other great items like Lee Summit branded coffee mugs, Tervis tumblers, hats, and more. Show off your Lee Summit pride. It's open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
Traditionally, we think as police officers, those responding to law enforcement needs within the community. But honestly, we are there to serve our citizens, and our citizens do go into crisis. They do have mental health crises, and we're being called to those scenes on a regular basis. In order to help serve those citizens better, we did initiate the Crisis Intervention Team Program. These are officers that are specially trained to de-escalate crisis situations. Recently, we've brought co-responders onto the scene, licensed qualified mental health professionals housed within our police department, and they respond with those officers directly to those scenes where a crisis is occurring so they can interact with that citizen and get them the help they need right there on that scene.
The co-responders are either a bachelor or master level in a behavioral health related field. They wear plain clothes, they don't carry weapons or anything like that.
I have a police radio that I listen to all day. Listen for, those key words: mental health, behavioral health, crisis.
There's a lot of officers that just call for me. I have my own radio number.
I also have the ability to self-dispatch to them and say 982 is en route.
Officers en route, 914, Armstrong.
So typically I arrive after they've made it safe. I'll make contact and get kind of the rundown, and then I just kind of jump right in.
I'm like, hey, my name's Allison. I'm a mental health professional. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to take you to jail or arrest you.
Sometimes all a person needs is a voice, someone neutral, someone outside that, can listen. I do a lot of safety planning, including family, their support network, who's close to you. If they're home alone, who can come over and hang out with you today? Can we lock away your sharps? Can we put up your meds? Do you need meds? Can we get you over to the urgent care to get you assessed for your medications? Some of them also are like, oh, I'm so glad you came. This made me feel so much better.
Our main goal as co-responders is to, one, get people connected to the services that they need, and also divert from emergency rooms and jails.
And they almost get a different view of the police responding. That lets me know you care and the officers care.
Please come up, please. How can we help you?
My husband has...
In 2020, we had 722 mental health related calls for service. 2022, by that time, 1,479. These mental health related calls for service are increasing. How we're responding to that is increasing the number of crisis intervention team officers we have available, as well as the number of co-responders we have available to respond on these calls.
So what I think is important for the community to know about the co-responder program is that we're here, we exist. All you have to do when you call 911 is ask for us. You know, say, hey, I want a co-responder to respond to this crisis, and we'll go. I was really struggling about 8 years ago on my personal journey with mental health, and I met some amazing social workers and amazing programs that have helped me get to where I am today. I really couldn't see myself doing anything else. We want to help, and that's what we love to do.
So I had a client, we got a call, she had some suicidal ideations, and she really felt that she had nobody. And and getting to know her story and getting to know who comes around and sees you, well then we found a support person and they responded immediately. And we made a plan. I called back and checked on her in an hour, and then I checked on her in 2 hours. We were able to get her into the additional services to where she talks to someone every week or more. I just took a person that really just thought they had nobody and nobody would show up for them, and show them you do. And you'll be amazed who is in your corner if you just simply say, I need a little help.
I am Fred DeMoro. I represent District 4. I've been on the council for 4 years, just completed 4 years. They were good 4 years, lot to do. And prior to that, I was on the Charter Review Commission. Prior to that, I spent 7 years on the Planning Commission. And the Planning Commission is actually the advising body to the City Council for land issues and development issues. I've always been interested in the city, and I actually, a current council member is the one that gave me the urge to, or push to actually join the Planning Commission. And I just wanted to get more involved. I think he got tired of me asking questions all the time, so he said, let's put him to work. The one thing that we are passionate about, or I'm passionate about, is reducing the burden of property taxes on our residents, and by that we have to attract more commercial development to get those commercial property taxes, commercial sales taxes involved. And as a trickle-down theory, that actually reduces the burden on residents. It sort of move from a bedroom community to a more diverse community tax base. I am Public Works Chairman, and we actually found money for a stormwater rate study. Now, what that will do is we will have a consultant come in and tell us how to actually enact or enable a stormwater rate to build a fund for being proactive on stormwater issues. We have a lot of stormwater issues in Lee Summit. We're surrounded by water. We're surrounded by lakes and river and things like that. And that is a big accomplishment. I know the Public Works chairmen before me had always tried to get that forward, and we finally did. And right now I think we've got an RFP for a consultant. And it's important to remember that we have to keep our infrastructure up, and that's just not stormwater and or water utilities. That's curbs, gutters, sidewalks, and everything like that. I've been a resident since 1986, and when I moved in 1986, it was a small town, small city, and it is very interesting to have seen everything happen in those since 1986, and we have grown immensely. Citizen involvement is very important. I think that it makes us a better community. There are all kinds of people out there that have really great ideas that would fit well in our boards and commissions, and really it's minimal time invested. They would be surprised of what they can do, the good they can do in a short amount of time, one meeting a month or one meeting every quarter, and really move things forward, and then help the council with the idea of what the community is actually needing and saying, and that's always important too.
We will call to order the Lee Summit Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, August 8th, 2024. Could I get a roll call, please?
Mark Kitchens.
Present.
Sherry Frazier.
Present.
Jake Lovelace.
Present.
Dana Arth.
Present.
Donnie Funk.
Present.
Terry Trafton. Tanya Jonna Ford.
Present.
Chip Tazinski.
Present.
Randy Benbrook.
Present.
Thank you. I know no changes to the agenda, so I'd look for a motion to approve the agenda as published.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda as published.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Could I get a vote on approval of the agenda, please?
Mark Kitchens,
Yes.
Sherry Frazier,
Yes.
Jake Lovelace,
Yes.
Dana Arth,
Yes.
Donnie Funk,
Yes.
Tanya Jonna Ford,
Yes.
Chip Tuzinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
Thank you, and the agenda has been approved. We are at our public comments. Anything from the public outside of the business of the Planning Commission that's on our agenda tonight? Everybody running down here, so we'll keep on going. Our next item is approval of the consent agenda. It has two items. Item A, approval of the July 25th, 2024 Planning Commission Action Report and application PL 2023-164 final plat, Wilshire Hills 4th plat, lots 5, 6, track A, JES Development Company, Inc. I'd look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I get a vote, please?
Mark Kitchens,
Yes.
Sherry Frazier,
Yes.
Jake Lovelace,
Yes.
Dana Arth,
Yes.
Donnie Funk,
Yes.
Tanya Jonna Ford,
Yes.
Chip Tuzinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
And the consent agenda has been approved. We will move on to our next item of business, which is our public hearings. We will open up application PL 2023-188 Preliminary Development Plan, Oldham Village Phase 1, 101 Southwest Oldham Parkway, 1025 Southwest Jefferson Street, and 1031 Southwest Jefferson Street. Engineering Solutions applicant. This application is to be continued to a date certain of September 12th, 2024. Could I get a motion, please?
Chair,
Yes.
I recommend to continue application PL 2023-188 Preliminary Development Plan, Oldham Village Phase 1, 101 Southwest Oldham Parkway, 1025 West Jefferson Street, and 1031 West Jefferson Street, Engineering Solutions LLC applicant, to a date certain of September 12th, 2024.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I get a vote, please?
Mark Kitchens,
yes.
Sherry Frazier,
Yes.
Jake Lovelace,
Yes.
Dana Arth,
Yes.
Donnie Funk,
Yes.
Terry Trafton, Tanya Jonna Ford,
Yes.
Chip Tuzinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
Thank you, and this application has been continued. We'll move on to our next application, which is PL 2024-015 Preliminary Development Plan, Oldham Village Phase 2, 101 Southwest Oldham Parkway, 1051 Southwest Jefferson Street, and 1206 Southwest Market Street, 1210 Southwest Market Street, and 1306 Southwest Market Street, and 1310 Southwest Market Street. Engineering Solutions LLC applicant, and this is to be continued to a date certain of September 12th, 2024 at the applicant's request. Could I get a motion, Mr. Kitchens?
Mr.
Please.
Chair,
Yes.
I move that we continue to date certain of September 12th, 2024, application PL 2024-05, Preliminary Development Plan, Oldham Village Phase 2, 101 Southwest Oldham Parkway, 1051 Southwest Jefferson Street, 1206 Southwest Market Street, 1210 Southwest Market Street, 1306 Southwest Market Street, and 1310 Southwest Market Street. Engineering Solutions LLC applicant.
I have a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Motion and a second. Could I get a vote?
Mark Kitchens,
Yes.
Sherry Frazier,
Yes.
Jake Lovelace,
Yes.
Dana Arth,
Yes.
Donnie Funk,
Yes.
Tanya Jonna Ford,
Yes.
Chip Tuzinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
And this application has been continued. We will move on to item C, and we will open up application PL 2024-158, special use permit for major automotive repair and sales of motor vehicles, 1000 Southeast Blue Parkway, CRB Industries LLC applicant. Anyone wishing to provide testimony or speak on behalf of this application, please stand and be sworn in at this time. Thank you. Does the applicant have a presentation for us? Give us your name and address for the record, please.
Todd Hauser with Bushyhead Law, address 315 Southeast Main Street here in Lee Summit.
Thank you.
I don't have a presentation. I just have a quick statement to say about, on behalf of CRB Industries. Before you is a special use permit for project number PL 2024158 as filed by CRB Industries and along with the Development Services staff report. This proposed special use permit is for major automotive repair and outdoor sale or lease of motor vehicles and equipment. These proposed uses are compatible with the adjacent automobile-related businesses and commercial uses as stated on page 7 of the staff report. The property is currently zoned CP2 Planned Community Commercial District, which allows for a full range of retail and office development serving the general needs of the community. As stated on page 6 of the staff report, the proposed uses achieve one objective of the city's Ignite comprehensive plan. A little background. In April 2014, CRB Industries was granted a special use permit for the exact same uses as the current application, as mentioned on page 2 and page 7 of the staff report. But then due to Lee Summit City Code, a SUP is only valid for about 10 years, at which time it must be renewed by filing a new application. So in brief, this 2024 SUP application is essentially a renewal of that previously approved and subsequently expired 2014 SUP. And then please note that during the tenure of that 2014 approved SUP, there were no negative impacts to the property or the surrounding areas, as also indicated on page 7 of your staff report. As to the specifics of these requested uses, the scope of the automotive repair currently at this location will primarily involve classic automobiles, which will also be a primary focus of the outdoor sales and lease of motor vehicles and equipment. This broader category of sales and lease motor vehicles provides flexibility in the bartering involved in the classic use vehicle sales. For example, my client may just wish to have ability to conduct a transaction in which he may receive a vehicle that may not be considered a quote-unquote classic car. The staff report also mentions the neighborhood meeting, which was held on July 3rd of 2024. The staff report is correct that there's no objection to the proposed SUP application was raised during this meeting. During that meeting, no concerns were expressed by property owners, but rather it was just a casual conversation centered upon the proposed use, and if anything would be changing from the previous SUP. Furthermore, telephone conversations were also had with 2 property owners and myself who were not able to attend that neighborhood meeting. Again, no concerns were raised to that property, but rather the owners were just curious as to the proposed uses. And then on page 9 of your staff report, it summarizes that recommended conditions of approval. Condition number 3 involves a parking lot screen with a landscaping plan to be submitted to the city and said landscaping to be maintained for the life of the SUP by the applicant. The applicant acknowledges and accepts that condition of approval. And then as for condition 4 involving the parking spaces to be restriped, again, the applicant acknowledges and accepts this condition of approval. So to conclude, CRB Industries acknowledges and accepts all of the recommendation conditions of approval as provided by city staff. We would just request the Planning Commission to accept the staff's recommendation of approval for this special use permit application. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Hector Soto, Senior Planner. I'd like to enter into the record Exhibit A, list of exhibits 1 through 14.
Exhibits 1 through 14 noted and entered into the record.
So as the applicant mentioned, this application is for a special use permit for major automotive repair. And just to provide a little bit of background as to what constitutes the difference between major and minor, is our minor automotive repair would be oil change, brakes, lube, those types of things. You could do transmission repair, you could do engine repair, but major is when you start getting over into more collision repair, paint booths, major body works, transmission replacement, engine replacement, as opposed to just minor or less intensive repair of those types of works. So the application here before you here is outlined, or the subject property is highlighted in yellow. So surrounding the property, well, it is a frontage road along US 50 highway, so the majority of these businesses are auto-intensive in some manner. Some of them are more directly automotive-related type uses. But here you can see there's a transition from the highway to commercial and to some industrial closer to 291 along 7th Terrace, and some single-family and duplex residential further north. Between the residential property and the subject property is another automotive repair facility that does minor automotive repair. And I guess just to back up a little bit on that, minor automotive repair, just FYI, does not require a special use permit. They are a use permitted by right subject to meeting certain conditions. It's when you get into the major automotive repair that it does trigger the special use permit application. So the subject site here, just to orient everyone, Blue Parkway would be to the south. So there are two existing access points onto Blue Parkway, and there's cross access to the existing, I believe it's Value Auto Clinic to the north. There are a total of 25 parking spaces on the subject property. 13 spaces will be required for the use. The diagram here outlines the area in which this parking spaces are located. So basically, 3 in front of this bay that's not will not be in use. There are 2 additional bays that are facing Blue Parkway here, which is indicated by this open area. But the remaining area of parking is made up of this area. So the blank space that you see here is this open drive that maintains cross access to the property to the north. The neighborhood service, or the neighborhood meeting, was held on July 3rd. There were a total of 3 members of the public. As mentioned in the staff report, there was no objections expressed at that meeting. Discussion just basically centered around potential or tenants and any concerns or questions about potential traffic generation. So the slide does have a strike through. So initially the applicant had requested a modification to the parking lot screening, but as has been stated here, they now accept that condition and will plant the required parking or the required parking lot screening. So here's some photos of the existing building. So just to go a little bit more into detail about the parking lot screening. So on the right is the photo of the facility. You can see, and in conjunction with the overhead view, that there are essentially 3 green space areas along the Blue Parkway frontage. There's a very small area here on the far east side of the lot. But as you can see on this photo, there is a power pole. There is a water line in that vicinity, and there's also some guy wires for another power pole that runs a little bit further north off the corner. Over off this corner, here you can see it's a monument sign location. You could just barely see it. There's another power pole there. There's a significant amount of concrete there. So effectively, the area that would be most conducive to providing the parking lot screening is this middle area, which is about 55 or 60 feet in total width. The requirement for parking lot screening is 12 shrubs per 40 linear feet, so that 60-foot area will equate to about the need for about 18 shrubs to be planted there, which, as the applicant's representative stated, they are agreeable to. From land use perspective, the image on the left, highlighted in red, is the subject property. All of the properties that are in yellow are a little bit more intensive auto-oriented uses. You have C-store. Over here you have a, lawn and leisure. You've got a newer automotive repair facility, truck accessory sales, truck or vehicle repair. On the south side of the highway, everything here that is in yellow is automotive sales, except for this corner here, where you have a Napa Auto Sales or Napa Auto Parts, and you have a vehicle repair. So the proposed uses of major automotive repair and auto sales is not unusual for this particular segment of US 50 highway on both sides of 50 highway, rather. So there are 4 conditions of approval associated with this application. The recommendation is for a period of 10 years for a special use permit, which is consistent with the previous one approved in 2014, and which would be consistent with the periods that are granted for existing buildings. It's when we get into the new construction type of development where some of the periods allowed to start going into the 20 or 30 or 40-year period to match financing. Condition number 3, as stated, and 4, the applicant is agreeable to. So with that, I will yield to any questions you may have.
Thank you, Hector. Do we have any comments or questions from the public on this application? I see none, so we will move to the commission for questions. Commissioner Benbrook, anything on this application?
Just one question. We're not recommending any trees in that location for the landscape screening, just shrubs. Is that correct?
Staff has not put forth a recommendation for trees, just
I'm
shrubs.
assuming because of the power lines and everything else that's there that we're keeping it responsible so there's no issues in the future. Okay. Thank you. That's all I had. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Tuzinski?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Is 45 days too soon for planting? I just want to make sure that anything that gets planted there don't die before.
So if this application keeps the track that it's on for city council, about 45 days would get you to about the end of October.
Perfect.
Yes. So that would still be prime planting season.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Jana Ford?
No questions, Chair. Thank you.
Commissioner Arth?
No questions.
Commissioner Lovelace?
Hector, if there were, I mean, there's a handful of things on this location that are in, some degree of disrepair. Is there any other items that could be added as conditions that would be reasonable from staff's purview as far as, whether it's just parking lot maintenance or different odds and ends like that could be requested of the applicant?
Yeah, there are some areas where there probably could be some patching of the parking area. So that is something that you have the purview to add as a condition. There's also the ability for staff to just open a neighborhood services case, which is how we would typically deal with property maintenance, to track it that way.
I'm just looking at a Google Earth image of the entry there and the approach off of that outer road. Is that our responsibility? Is that MoDOT's responsibility? Is that the property owner's responsibility? That, exactly.
For maintenance of the drives?
Well, I mean, I look at that and I think there might even be a little bit of safety risk that's involved with that entrance as it is.
So I guess just to be clear, what the question then is what?
Whose responsibility is the maintenance of that entry, that approach that's right there? Is that part of the right of way for MoDOT? Is that city responsibility? I think all the outer road I thought was MoDOT, but then I didn't know if that was the property owner's responsibility to improve that. That's a pretty good concrete section right there.
Yeah.
So I know there'd be some pretty significant costs incurred with that, but just kind of some of those different things. I mean, for now, that's it. Yeah.
That's a good question. I'm not sure exactly how it works along MoDOT, but if it were a public street, that approach would be the maintenance of it would be a responsibility of the property owner. But okay. I'm not sure if there's any nuance or difference when you're dealing with MoDOT.
Okay. No more questions at this time. Thanks, Secretary.
Thank you. Commissioner Frazier.
I always have questions about the neighborhood meetings. So there were 3 folks or 3 present at the meeting. Do you by any chance know, were they residential? Because I noticed there was a residential. Curious.
The applicant might be a little bit better asked that.
the new label at this point. Is there a significance of the? Just curious about that one too. So. Okay.
Come on up to the front here.
Neighborhood meeting, there was a married couple that lives relatively close, or obviously,
Residential?
and then there was another property owner, I think she owned a couple duplexes in that general area.
Oh, perfect.
As for the dinosaur, I don't know the story behind that. I can ask, but I don't know the story.
I remember the building based on that. I just didn't know the history.
Right, so that particular dinosaur used to be located where, well, I guess where the CVS is now, here at 3rd and 50, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So when that went away, apparently Sinclair didn't want to keep it, or it was up for sale, so it was relocated to this location, so, yeah.
Good.
Finished.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kitchens?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a statement, that dinosaur better have a home by the time we're done with this. But question for the applicant, actually. So with this SUP up, is this business currently up and operating at the moment?
Believe so. No, it's not. The SUP expired. He's not selling anything or doing any repairs.
Sure, okay, I'll rephrase that. Is there currently somebody who has a lease on this location? Because as far as I've noticed, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down.
My knowledge, my client owns it. I haven't been informed of
Fair
any
enough.
tenants or leases.
Fair enough. The reason I'm asking is this SUP coming up with this property, quite frankly, does not look that great. And I think we've had some statements from the staff about redoing the parking lot, which awesome job, staff, on those as well. We've been kind of catching SUPs a little bit harsher. I'm sure you've noticed. We don't want to just have properties that aren't maintained. We don't want to just have properties that run away with SUPs of 20, 30 years. And quite frankly, we want to be able to have a society and a city that takes pride in what they do. Right now, this isn't showing it. So I will say the fence and the screen, I'm glad to hear that the applicant is amenable to those. That absolutely needs to happen on the front, in my opinion. City staff, I know that Commissioner Jake.
Oh, Lovelace?
Lovelace. I wanted to say Lovelace, and I was like, that's not the right thing. Commissioner Lovelace asked this already, but with our conditions on this, there's one thing that I really, really get annoyed with through that area. It's the storage of vehicles outside. What are we doing as a city? Do we have any capability of not having the vehicles stored all over the parking lots all the time?
Well, we do have a distinction between storage and parking. For auto repair facilities, vehicles that are in disrepair or that are there for service are supposed to be kept on sites where they can accommodate this, or they're supposed to be kept to the rear of the building.
And on sites where they can't accommodate it?
I'm sorry?
On sites where they can't accommodate that?
Most of those would be either an existing condition that would just be that lawful nonconforming characteristic.
Okay. How do we feel about this one from the staff's perspective? How many parking spots do we have over there?
A total of 25.
Okay. You see the spot next door?
I'm sorry?
I believe they're Automax or something like that. The truck.
I'm sorry, to the west?
Yeah, thank you, to the west.
Yeah.
It's constantly full of vehicles in kind of a disrepaired state. Now, they may be towards the back, et cetera. This one doesn't have the same parking lot as well for that. As far as I know, what we're getting here with this SUP might be a parking lot that's just full of damaged vehicles all over again. I don't know if that's exactly what I want right there. I don't know if it's what our city wants right there, quite frankly. Is there anything in the improvement, or in the SUP requirements where we can have them update the exterior of the building?
You can place that as a condition, yes. You have the
Yeah.
authority to place a condition on this application.
We might get lucky with you guys that I don't have the support on the commission for that one, but I'm going to actually add something about updating to current codes, the outside of the building. I don't know how that'd be phrased, but luckily we have lawyers here that'll help me out with that. That's going to be a condition of improvement there as well. Outdoor vehicle storage, I don't think I can do anything about that, so I'll just let that drop. And then last but not least, that dinosaur. It is pretty cool. I recommend you guys keep it. If you get rid of it, find another place in Lee's Summit for it, but that's neither here nor there. But just to be honest with the applicant, I'm usually a big supporter of developing out and things of this nature, but on this property specifically, I've seen just kind of a lack of presentation. And the SUP's up, and I don't feel comfortable going for a 10-year SUP on this and the condition that it's in. So I'm going to ask for some conditions on that one. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any follow-ups on the commission while we're? Okay. Yes, sir. Did you have something? You good? Hector, you're good? Need us for anything? You good? Okay. I will close the public hearing and open up for discussion or a motion. Commissioner Bimbrook, anything on discussion?
Yeah, discussion. I think it's already been hit on a little bit, but it is a little deteriorated. And it's hard to tell in some of the images because I don't know if it's graininess or if the actual paint's peeling off the building, but it would be nice to have this, I'm not going to use the word updated, but maybe the paint and gutters and things of that nature that face the street at least get updated. I would feel comfortable with that. I know it's hard to tear out a bunch of concrete looking at the parking lot, but it sounds like Jake's interested in getting some patching done and they're going to restripe it. So I think with maybe a couple minor conditions, we can make this work. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Tazinski, anything?
Nothing additional at this time.
Jana Ford, anything?
Yes, Chair. Just a comment. Looking at the pictures, I kind of realize now with the adjacent neighbor being Habaneros, a frequently visited restaurant, I think it'd be nice if we could update the areas in Blue Parkway accordingly. I guess not update, elevate. However you want to say it.
Sure.
Refresh.
Commissioner Arth.
I would echo what the other commissioners are saying. I think it's an opportunity for us to refresh one of the businesses along a major corridor. So I think we should discuss what we would like to see there.
Commissioner Lovelace.
I think we've generally said it. I have no issue with the use, but do think that anytime we run into one of these SUP renewals, it's an opportunity for us to take care of some deferred maintenance items and things like that. So I'd like to see that done. One other thing, Commissioner Kitchens brought up an interesting kind of thought-provoking comment about how we store vehicles and in what condition we store them. This parking lot had 25 spaces is what we discussed, but they were spread throughout the parking lot. And so, I mean, and this is kind of a higher level, I guess question posed to everybody here, but, should there be some sort of a condition for approval that anything that is being worked upon is stored back beyond a certain point, and if they exceed that amount, then they can't take any more business in, because otherwise they're sitting up in front in a condition of disrepair on a major highway thoroughfare through Lee Summit that everybody driving through looks at every day. So, or should there be fencing that's up in the, on the frontage of the lot to where you get a little better cover on that, and should that be there for every different automotive repair facility? So just a handful of different questions, thoughts, and that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Commissioner Frazier.
I'd like to take a look at the sign out front. And it may just be the pictures and the angle, because a couple of them made it seem like it was kind of leaning a bit, but I haven't driven by there lately to see if that's the case or if that's just the view of the If it is leaning, then obviously then that needs to be addressed.
Thank you. Commissioner Kitchens.
Yeah, I think everybody's hit the nail on the head with this one. I do like what Commissioner Benbrook said, and thank you, Commissioner Lovelace, for remembering my last name when you said that as well. But we need to throw a can of paint at this, however that comes out in legalese. And the vehicles, I'm not sure where we're going to store them at, and that, to me, I don't know if we have that capability on the Planning Commission. This may need to be something we adjust in the UDO. Might need to be before City Council as well, but we're running into a problem here on the same corridor. We've got a lot of auto maintenance going on through there, which I'm all for. Any healthy business is a great business in Lee Summit, and I like that they're here looking to continue business in Lee Summit. But there are some conditions here that seriously need to be met. With the parking lot, I hate to revisit this. They're restriping it, but are we doing anything else with that parking lot? Commissioner Benbrook lightly touched on it. Commissioner Lovelace looked at the entry there from the frontage road as well. Is that something else we wanted to talk about today? But I would look to city staff for some way of putting these thoughts into words for us so we can have a motion.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Just, Hector, can you confirm that under the current UDO, this facility, all the parking would be to the rear of the building, not out at the face of the building by the road?
Sure. So with this particular application, since we're dealing with two things, we're dealing with automotive sales and then also those for repair. For repair, they would have to be behind or to the side of the building, as the case may be. There isn't any kind of locational restriction as it relates to display areas for auto sales. So if you did want to craft some language regarding where vehicles may be, there would need to be some distinction as to whether or not, how to separate those two pieces of the use of the property.
But currently, they could only park vehicles for sale at the front of the building, not storing cars for repair at the front of the building.
Correct. Nothing in front of the building, no.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
I guess I missed that part. Was this has auto sales on the front too, right? Yeah, I kind of skimmed over that in my mind as well.
Hector, I guess something hit me that I guess I have a question. I probably will have to reopen the public hearing to ask the applicant the question. So I will reopen the public hearing, and a question for the applicant. Do you know the revenue of sales versus repairs that happens at this location? I'm getting ready to say I don't get to do this very often, Miss Bushyhead, but you need to swear in. Go ahead.
I don't know specifically what the percentages were. I think it was very balanced because the function that occurred here pre-COVID, quite frankly, was that they did the renovations of the classic cars and then put them out on the lot and sold them, like a Mercedes 450 SL two-door convertible, kind of things. It's all about those old cars. So that's what happened. So I would say it's fair to say it was probably 50-50 at the time.
Okay.
I think it's important that during COVID, there was a significant impact on this site. And then with the uncertainty of what's going to happen with the highway, it's been difficult from a use and tenant standpoint. But now that it's a little bit more certain of what's going to happen with the outer road, with the moving of the highway patrol and those kind of things, that's why more recently the owner actually made the decision to go ahead and renew the activity at this site, because now he's more inclined to be able to get someone interested in site because of the certainty that we have now with that. So I can tell you about that piece of it as it relates to the property. This is one of those properties that kind of fell victim of the COVID.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Any more questions? We're in the public hearing, so you got, go for it.
One question for the applicant. Thank you so much for coming up here, by the way, Ms. Bushyhead. So they're currently looking for a new tenant then for the property? Yes. Okay, so is there an active tenant at the property?
No.
No, okay, that was what I had asked before.
Yeah, he was correct in saying we don't have anyone there right now.
Okay, but we are actively searching.
Actively searching. In fact, there's a sign in the yard.
Yeah, I thought I saw a sign over
Yeah.
there. That's what I was saying. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Bushyhead. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate that.
Go ahead.
Nope, I'm good.
So if there's no active tenant in the space and the owner doesn't anticipate operating the business as he once did, does it make sense to take out an SUP right now for a use that he may or may not re-tenant for?
Frankly, earlier this spring, we did have a tenant, but they are kind of like.
Okay, because yeah, if it's contingent on this and it's in hand, but otherwise I would think it might be more difficult to find, somebody specifically for this use versus just having, industrial space that's available in Lee Summit because that market is so tight.
But, I mean, the synergy of the area, though, I think as you've seen the synergy of the area makes sense. It's been successful. It's been a successful site up until COVID, so.
Okay.
If I can just add one small thing, I can confirm that there had been a tenant lined up. They had actually physically come into City Hall to fill out the business license application. It was right after the expiration of the previous special use permit, and they were looking to do auto repair and sales. Yeah.
Anything else while we're in the public hearing? I'll close the public hearing and go back for discussion. It sounds like we might have to turn to the legal folks.
Staff would request a short break so we could discuss this and how we would want to word those restrictions, get some clarification.
Do you have anything you want to add as far as, I'll jump right to in a second, any specifics that you want to see on the condition of approval? That being parking lot repairs specific, do we want to see building repairs specific that?
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Specifically, I think that the three big things to address would be the exterior of the building, what do we say, refreshed, or we were not using that word, I believe. Second, the parking lot repaired and I don't want to say how that happens, but repaired and repainted. And lastly, that the vehicles are stored towards the rear 50% of the parking lot. I think that's reasonable when they're being worked on.
For clarification on the vehicle storage, are you talking about the for sale vehicles or the vehicles under repair?
Vehicles under repair. Although I've never seen a Mercedes for sale from that place, just saying.
And I guess, is it appropriate if we get those conditions, do you want to see those conditions and agree that to those conditions, or would you rather see those conditions and continue this and go back to the applicant or the owner and say, hey, this is what they're saying to get your special use permit? I mean, I think what you're hearing. Okay, so we can get you those specific conditions that we would ask for, and I mean, if you want to write those up, and then we could make a motion to continue this and allow them to go back to the client.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, and I think we're
So
clear.
you
on
want
the
to take a 5-minute?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute recess and we'll come right back.
Welcome to the Lee Summit Sign Department. We are going to walk you through our process from start to finish. We make signs as needed here. It's not like we just go out into the field and place a speed limit sign here, or no parking here. Our traffic engineers, they go through and they'll do field studies. They'll send us down an engineering work order for us to go out, place new signs or remove signs as needed. coming from the material. Our blanks come in and they're just aluminum blanks. We can put our white, our red, our fluorescent yellow, green, whatever. And basically what it looks like is just that there. Throw it up into the roller. And once we got it covered, take it to our work table here, and Tim will cut the corners, cut all the access off to where it's lined up right. As far as the plotter and the software that we use, there's a street name sign there, and he's gonna go ahead and print that out on the plotter so you can see the plotter and how it operates and runs. There's standards for the height, even just on letters on the sign blank. Basically what we have on the computer there is it's pretty much set up to those. And it goes through, it's got a very small but sharp needle that goes through and cuts everything out letter by letter. Once that's done cutting, our next stage would be bringing it over here. Currently picking out the sign letters right now. We call it weeding or picking or however you want to call it. Next, putting it on the transfer tape. Then after it's taped, we bring it over to the roller. That's where we apply it to the actual sign blank. And we'll roll it through one time just to get the air bubbles out. And the last stage is basically just taking the transfer tape off the front of it. And there's a finished product of the street name sign. We'll take you out to the field and show you our process that we go through. We're gonna go out and follow our sign guys, get something installed for you. This is where we check our underground utilities. Tim, you got AT&T?
AT&T's back here.
Evergy, Google, so we should be good to go. We normally put all of our stuff together out in the field. Then once the base is installed, we'll go ahead and put the post in there. We've come up to perfect. And that's how we do it. Simple, quick.
Traditionally, we think as police officers, those responding to law enforcement needs within the community. But honestly, we are there to serve our citizens, and our citizens do go into crisis. They do have mental health crises, and we're being called to those scenes on a regular basis. In order to help serve those citizens better, we did initiate the Crisis Intervention Team Program. These are officers that are specially trained to de-escalate crisis situations. Recently, we've brought co-responders onto the scene, licensed qualified mental health professionals housed within our police department, and they respond with those officers directly to those scenes where a crisis is occurring so they can interact with that citizen and get them the help they need right there on that scene.
The co-responders are either a bachelor or master level in a behavioral health related field. They wear plain clothes, they don't carry weapons or anything like that.
I have a police radio that I listen to all day. Listen for, those key words: mental health, behavioral health, crisis.
There's a lot of officers that just call for me. I have my own radio number.
I also have the ability to self-dispatch to them and say 982 is en route.
Officers en route, 914, Armstrong.
So typically I arrive after they've made it safe. I'll make contact and get kind of the rundown, and then I just kind of jump right in.
I'm like, hey, my name's Allison. I'm a mental health professional. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to take you to jail or arrest you.
Sometimes all a person needs is a voice, someone neutral, someone outside that, can listen. I do a lot of safety planning, including family, their support network, who's close to you. If they're home alone, who can come over and hang out with you today? Can we lock away your sharps? Can we put up your meds? Do you need meds? Can we get you over to the urgent care to get you assessed for your medications? Some of them also are like, oh, I'm so glad you came. This made me feel so much better.
Our main goal as the co-responders is to, one, get people connected to the services that they need, and also divert from emergency rooms and jails.
And they almost get a different view of the police responding. That lets me know you care and the officers care.
Please have a place. How can we help you?
My husband has...
In 2020, we had 722 mental health related calls for service. 2022, by that time, 1,479. These mental health related calls for service are increasing. How we're responding to that is increasing the number of crisis intervention team officers we have available, as well as the number of co-responders we have available to respond on these calls.
So what I think is important for the community to know about the co-responder program is that we're here, we exist. All you have to do when you call 911 is ask for us. Say, hey, I want a co-responder to respond to this crisis, and we'll go. I was really struggling about 8 years ago on my personal journey with mental health, and I met some amazing social workers and amazing programs that have helped me get to where I am today. I really couldn't see myself doing anything else. We want to help, and that's what we love to do.
So I had a client, we got a call, she had some suicidal ideations, and she really felt that she had nobody. And and getting to know her story and getting to know who comes around and sees you, well, then we found a support person and they responded immediately and we made a plan. I called back and checked on her in an hour, and then I checked on her in 2 hours. We were able to get her into the additional services to where she talks to someone every week or more. I just took a person that really just thought they had nobody and nobody would show up for them, and show them you do. And you'll be amazed who is in your corner if you just simply say, I need a little help.
When the person called on the phone, she said that there was a dinosaur walking down her road. Of course, we had to go out and check that out. We get out there, and it was a big African tortoise, probably 60 pounds, walking down the road. When they walk, they really stand up tall, so I could see why she thought it was a dinosaur. I'm Rodney Wagner. I'm the manager of Lee Summit Animal Control. So as you can see, we get all sorts of animals here. You got some guinea pigs off to the side. All the windows up here are animals that are adoptable right now. Every one of these dogs is ready to go and ready for adoption. And the same thing with our cats over here. A lot of cool cats in here now, so this is our 3-acre lot we have out back. This is where we do all the walking of dogs, exercise. We also have a side yard off to the side over there, so we can let them run loose. They can run together, and we have what's called play groups. Kind of like having a bunch of kids. Here's our vet room. We have a vet that comes out twice a week. This is our Sally Port where we bring the animals into. This is one of our animal control trucks, and we can hold up to 6 animals. We have a lift on the other side to put big animals in. We actually have temperature gauges in here and in the truck to tell us how hot it is. Once it gets to a certain temperature, we bring all the animals back here immediately. So this actually has traps in it, but we do a lot of wildlife trapping. I mean, a lot. So bats, potbelly pigs, horses, cows, emus, a lot of reptiles. We had a citizen one time that had over 200 reptiles in his basement. Caimans and alligators in here that are 4 or 5 feet long. You can't keep those. And people do, and they're surprised when they can't keep them. I'm like, really? You're surprised you can't have an alligator in your house? Our main goal here is public safety and also the safety of the animals. And we have very dedicated people back there, and they definitely stay here for the love of the animals, which also includes getting them adopted out. We'll have about 4,000 impounded animals a year. Probably about close to 2,000 are dogs and cats. The cats and dogs, when they get impounded here, they go on a 5-day hold. And then after the 5 days, if the owner doesn't show up, then we can put them up for adoption. To adopt an animal here is actually really simple. You just come in, look for whatever animal you're looking for, find the right pick. You go to the adoption room up there and see if you get along with them. You spend as much time as you want to in there. From that point on, it's just a matter of making sure they're spay or neutered and all their vaccinations up to par and they're good to go. We have a very high adoption rate because we try everything in our power to get animals adopted out. We have Heart of America Humane Society that we do a lot of adoptions through. And then we also have other groups. We have some people that literally will just look all over the country for somewhere for a dog to go. And we've sent dogs up into South Dakota, North Dakota, Washington State, So it's actually, it's a huge united effort to get all these animals home.
Tarzan's got lots of energy. Hazel's got a weird meow. Bell, she wants nothing to do with the other cats. She'll kind of get her grumpy face going.
And the good thing about the people here is that they get all their friends to get animals too. All of us have probably the limit of all the animals that we can have at home. You know, they are huge animal lovers. If it was up to the people here, we'd have 15 cats running around in here. We had a citizen one time out there, and he was bathing his two 9-foot-long boa constrictors in the front yard. Apparently, I was garnering some attention, and so we went out there and had to have a talk with him about that. Why do I do this job? Oh, dude, I love this job. I grew up on a farm, and taking care of that many animals, you can't help but like animals. This is just like fancy farming. You know, you're just bringing animals in here, taking care of them, and find them homes, and yeah, absolutely animal lover.
Into session for, I guess we are looking to staff, I think, what's the final decision
So
here?
after speaking with the applicant, they are amenable to continue this to the 22nd, the Planning Commission meeting, to give staff time to work with them on the wording of the conditions, and then bring it back before you on those conditions, with those conditions.
Okay. So we would, Anna Ford, do you want to run with this one?
Yes, Chair. Thank you. I move to continue application PL 2024-158 special use permit for major automotive repair and sales of major vehicles, 1000 Southeast Blue Parkway, CRB Industries, LLC applicant, to date of August 22nd.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Could I get a vote, please?
Mark Kitchens,
Yes.
Sherry Frazier,
Yes.
Jake Lovelace,
Yes.
Dana Arth,
Yes.
Donnie Funk,
Yes.
Tanya Jonna Ford,
Yes.
Chip Tazinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
This application has been continued to a date certain of August 22nd, 2024. We will move on to our next item of business, which is roundtable. Any roundtable from the commission? Anybody? Commissioner Kitchens?
Mr. Chair, thank you. So recently, I was approached by a non-citizen of Lee's Summit about some questions about some city roads and what was going on. So the construction on Colburn, that is happening over 291 specifically. It looks like that is getting reduced in lane capability. In other words, I think they're increasing the size of the median or taking a lane away across there. Is that even our concern? I believe that's MoDOT that's on top of that. I don't hear Mike Park running from the attic or wherever we keep him now to help me out.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If so, Mr. Kitchens, there's no improvement on the Colburn project for that interchange at 291. I'm sorry, are you talking about 350 or the 291 end?
291.
But are you talking about the section of work being done on Colburn that's just to the west of that?
No, just the overpass there on 291.
No, sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Good. It looks like it's being reduced in capability, whereas the rest of Colburn, nice fat wide lanes. I just wonder if we have an update on that, or if anyone knows more than I do.
I will have to check into that and get back to you on that. Looks like my engineer has stepped out.
Oh, all good. It's just for my own personal edification. I know people are starting to grumble and complain, and there are a lot of competing governments over there. Like I said, I believe that's just MoDOT. I don't even think we have a dog in that fight, if I'm familiar with it. But thank you, Mr. Chair. That's it from me.
Roundtable from the staff?
So yeah, I do have some information, follow up on some questions that you had asked at the previous Planning Commission meeting with regards to multifamily and school, the school district. So we did reach out to Dr. Buck, and he did come back with some of the information. So generation rates, current generation rates for a single-family home citywide is about 0.525 per unit. That's a little slight decline from previous. It was up to about 0.567, so it's a little bit down. Apartments are generating about 0.1 per unit currently. So if you take the Donovan and Summit Square Apartments project as an example, he gave some numbers on, that's about 645 units total. And over the last couple of years, that has generated between 17 and 35 students total between those two projects. And keep in mind, that is over K through 12, so 13 grades. So it's not, they're not all going to go into a single grade.
I was just going to say, does that math line up, though, with what they said on 0.1 on a multifamily, and out of 620, we got 13 kids?
That's, so that 0.1 is overall city as a whole.
Okay.
So, and this site-specific maybe.
Got
a
it.
little
I'm
different
cherry
than that.
picking. Awesome. Sorry, Shannon.
All right. And we did talk to them and approach them about attending a planning commission meeting as well. We're still waiting to hear back from Dr. Buck on that.
Good job. Thank you, Shannon. Good work.
And just a little more color, some comments that were made. The city council at the last CEDC did ask staff to start looking into long-term maintenance of commercial properties. So we are starting to dig into that and do some more research on that as well. So we are looking into those efforts this week. They are looking at working with the new adoption of the 2024 ICC codes, which does include that property maintenance code as well. So we are in the process of that.
Thank you, Shannon.
All I had.
Mr. Chair, one
Yes.
thing. I hate to be this guy, but the State Tax Commission just released a mandate for Jackson County. I know we had a joint lawsuit with a few of the other cities against Jackson County. Any word or update on that? I know that's not your forte, guys, so yeah, you probably know as much as we do, huh?
Let's put it this way. The law department is fully aware of this, very interested in it, and hasn't got squat advice for you right now.
Okay. If I can make one plea from small business owners in the area, residential properties were not the only ones who were destroyed in that. I own leases and therefore pay taxes all across the metro. And I can tell you, one of them for 1,300 square feet, I'm paying $3,500 a month in tax alone. So not in this city, I'll tell you that much. But just a heads up to the tax department. Thank you.
Thank you. Understood.
Else? Everybody good? We are adjourned.